Hello, I'm just kind of soon to see how I'll be reacting to the. Now, first, let me adjust my jersey for today, as it is the 2014-15 away jersey, which Arsenal won the FA Cup in. And I really like the contrast between the blue and yellow, even though they're not colors that you normally associate with Arsenal. Like with blue, it's really they go really well together. Now let's get into this game. As Arsenal played West Ham. West Ham United had an excellent season this far, and it's gone under the radar in terms of being a top four caliber team compared to last season, where they were in a relegation fight. David Moyes has really turned this team around, and it showed in the first 15 minutes when West Ham got off to an excellent start. That was ultimately finished off with a Jesse Lingard strike to give West Ham a 1-0 lead. And Lingard has been a revelation since joining West Ham on loan from Manchester United. And he went from the outhouse to the penthouse, based not getting a chance to play at Manchester United, going almost the entire year without scoring a goal last year. And he's just been on fire of late with West Ham. And then a couple minutes later, West Ham United would strike again, this time with Jared Bowen, who would put an excellent curve into the net to give West Ham a 2-0 lead. And at this point, it was biting my fingernails. It was really, I was thinking, here we go again. It was another game where Arsenal gets off track in the first 20 minutes, and I don't think they'll be able to come back. And my fears were answered when a few minutes later West Ham would again capitalize and Tomasz Suchek strike to give West Ham a 3-0 lead. And at this point, I was like, there's no way that they can get back. There's no way. But they were resilient. They kept the fight on, and it would pay off. And a few minutes later, with Alexander Lacazette putting in an excellent control and finish from a Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang pass, with Aubameyang starting again, that was deflected off of Souček. So Souček scored 2 goals today and into the net to lessen the monumental hurdle that Arsenal had put themselves behind. And despite the scoreline, Arsenal had shown some encouraging moments in that first half to give me hope going into the second half. And as long as they can keep up their fight and their attack, there's no doubt in my mind that I believe that they could come back and potentially win this game, or at the very least get a draw. Never look a gift horse in the mouth when it comes to results like that. And Arsenal have one more chance before the end of the first half, with Bukayo Saka putting in an excellent ball that was deflected away by Craig Dawson. And we'll get to Craig Dawson in a little bit. But as we get into the second half, Arsenal put on the pressure again, and they would nearly get a great chance a couple minutes into the second half, with Lacazette once again putting in a great ball that was put away by former Arsenal goalkeeper Lucas Fabianski. And so we get to around the 60th minute now, and through a great series of passes, particularly from Martin Odegaard, who's just been on fire of late, to the unlikeliest of players in Calum Chambers, who I was surprised to see start, putting a ball into the center that was deflected by, intended for likes of Lacazette, that was it was put in the net by West Ham defender Craig Dawson for an own goal, and making it 3-2. And it's unfortunate for Dawson that it had to happen, but I feel for him in that sense that it's never. I mean, and even his own teammate Souček scored an own goal too. So if they weren't so unlucky, they could have had a different result. But it's just the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. West Ham had some very good chances on its own in its own right in the second half, particularly Michael Antonio. It's excellent chances, and the fact that he's so deadly up front that you have to pay attention. And with Arsenal's suspect defense, I felt they had to be vigilant at all times, and they were up to the task though, and I admire them for that, and I have a huge amount of respect for that. And West Ham were yearning for another goal as a couple chances from Jesse Lingard and Michael Antonio just missed the net and went out the post in some instances, and it was such they were a dangerous team despite the fact that they was only a 3-2 lead. They were committed to extending their lead until the 82nd minute, where through an excellent cross by Nicola Pepe, who wound up subbing on earlier in the second half, into the center, and where Alexander Lacazette just so happened to be, and he headed it into the net to tie the game. And holy, that was such a great pass, first of all, at Pepe. And the finish by Lacazette, he may not be the tallest guys, but he really knows how to get up there. And through everything that Arsenal had gone through in that game a to finally get to tie the game was such a relief, and they vehemently deserved it because they worked so hard to get this result. And it looked like they weren't done, as a couple minutes later, Nicola Pepe had his own chance at giving Arsenal the lead, but it was put away by Lucas Fabianski. And then West Ham would have a couple of chances late with a free kick that Declan Rice put on net, but was saved by Bernd Leno. But overall, that's all she wrote, and the game finished 3-3 draw between Arsenal and West Ham United. And considering everything I went through, the horrendous start by Arsenal, I'm more than satisfied with this result. West Ham are for real, and they're not to be taken lightly. And for that, I think that Arsenal show that they are able to compete with the likes of West Ham, even though they're not a typical contender. They still weren't willing to go down without a fight, and I admire them for that. A couple things I think they still need to work on are obviously their defending. This game was lackluster, and it really hurts when you don't have the likes of Gabriel and Cedric. Even Cedric has been very impressive of late. And while Kieran Tierney was held his own and put in some excellent challenges, their center back tandem of David Luiz and Pablo Mari was just not good enough, and it they were they weren't necessarily at fault for West Ham goals, but they could have been more prepared, and so I think that's something they can work on. But overall, I give my man of the match to Alexander Lacazette. Put in should have had 2 goals in the game, and he was everyone on the field. He was tracking back on defense, and just such a impressive game. He really had something to prove after the numerous times he's had to come on as a substitute this season. He's proven himself as a starter. So anyway, leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Join me in a couple weeks' time when Arsenal take on Liverpool in what is sure to be one of the games of the season. Come on, you Gunners! Arrivederci.